Lee, thanks for joining us. Bit of a change of scenery out here in Marbella. How has the pre-season camp gone so far?
It's been brilliant, yeah. First of all, obviously, the atmosphere and the setting, I think, gives you an opportunity to do some great work. But also it's intense because the heat's intense, so you feel like you're getting maybe 20%, 30% more out of the session. And the lads live in each other's pockets, and we get to know them as staff, particularly new players and the young players that have stepped up into the first team. And yeah, it's been a really nice balance, bit of play, a lot of work, and I have to say the boys have been absolutely fantastic in their application.
Yeah, you mentioned the squad there, and the squad that you've taken out here in Marbella. Got a few young lads, new signings, and some senior players, of course, as well. How has the squad gelled together out here, and how important is that to have that mix?
Yeah, it's really important. You know, we're a club that wants to give opportunities to young players. There's 4 or 5 out here, if you like, that have come through the academy, and coupled with the new signings and the experienced stalwarts that we've got, and the likes of Louis Stevenson and Paul Hanlon, Dave Marshall as an example, now Alfie, Adam Lafondra signed. There's some real experience in that group, and if I was a young player, I'd be doing everything I could to learn off those guys because of the careers they've had.
You mentioned some of the different training sessions and stuff that we've done. Can you just give us a bit of an insight into what pre-season looks like in terms of the different kind of sessions that you run? In, some are in the gym, some are on the pitch, and why they're important?
Yes, well, we're trying to build the athlete, that's for sure. Obviously, the boys only had 3 weeks off, really, so they did come back exceptionally fit, which was great for me because it allows us to get straight into the ball work, into the tactical stuff. Obviously, we're trying to blend new players as well as sort of implement the playing the game model to the younger players as well. And obviously the academy have done a great job with those guys, you know, 3 17-year-olds here with us, and all performing extremely well. So the balance of work is absolutely key because obviously you need to push the boundaries to build the athlete in terms of the fitness. We need the concentration and the control and the calm to be able to implement the tactical work both on the grass but also in the analysis room. And then obviously the boys have to be fresh enough to be able to go and perform that as well. So it's a really delicate scientific balance, outstanding sort of performance department we've got at this football club. Georgia, our nutritionist, has done a great job, headed up by Colin Clancy, and Adam Owen is world class in that field as well. So like it's a really, really, like I say, scientific but well thought out programme, and like touch wood, the boys will come out like extremely sharp on the back of it.
You mentioned the young lads, Ruben McAllister, Jacob McIntyre, Kanao Megwa, Rudy Monotnikov, all here on the trip. How impressed have you been with them? And looking ahead to next season, is that something that we can see in a Lee Johnson team, that chance for young players to step up and get game time in the first team?
Yeah, well, I'm always uncomfortable when we say a Lee Johnson team because it's a Hibs team. I'm obviously the custodian of the role as the manager, and I pick the team. But I'm super keen, obviously, on bringing the young players through. They have to be good enough, and I always think a young player is better bedded into a good team with good experience and a good blend around them. And I truly believe that 1 or 2 of those guys will certainly make their debut this season and have influence. So, you know, attitude is absolutely key. They need to be curious. Application has to be on point because they've got the talent. And it's not just the pathway that comes, okay, you come onto the pre-season trip, you step into the games, and then you go and play in the first team. Sometimes there's a step before that. You know, we've got some very good players out on loan this season that we've primed to be able to come back next season. So depending on their levels, their area of their development, it may be that they play 2 or 3 games for our first team, and then in January they go out on loan. So it's quite exciting, and we love to see young players coming through, particularly ones with green blood.
For sure. A few new faces as well in the building out here in Marbella. Obviously, Dylan Levitt joined, Lafondra, Bita, strength and depth in the goalkeeping department as well. How impressed have you been with the new signings that we brought to the club?
Really, really happy this year. You know, I think everybody's had a year, if you like, to work with me and understand what type of player I pick in the team. Obviously, like the quality that we've signed is good, and in terms of it's got real potential to blend the team, particularly in the way we want to play it. You know, we've got speed out wide. Don't forget Martin Ball back to full fitness, which is fantastic for us. But speed, pace in behind. We've got that craft and guile, essentially. We've got energy and good footballing ability in midfield. I think we've improved our goalkeeper department. You know, strong competition there now. The pathway, for example, of Canayo. You know, Chris Cadden was a big loss to us with a ruptured Achilles, but it presents an opportunity to Lewis Miller and Canayo Megwa to be able to go and stake a claim for that role, and they'll get every chance to do that, and hopefully they'll take it. So, yeah, it's starting to build. You know, there's still work to be done, and we know that, both ins and outs. But we every decision we make is with the intention of improving the team, the squad, and then obviously enabling young players to progress.
Taking a step back then and moving away from pre-season, how would you reflect looking back at your first full season in charge with Hibs, and is there any kind of key takeaways or learnings from that?
I think there's always learnings, you know. I think we're starting to mould the squad now, sort of how I want it, how I see it. I'm really looking forward to that. I feel like it's becoming my team per se in terms of, you know, the movement, ins and outs. Thought we had a really good window in January, and that coincided with a fantastic second half of the season. You know, do we want to be pushing higher in the division, earlier in the division, so we can maintain that strength? Absolutely. Is that possible yet? We've set up a lovely season in my eyes, getting that European place, you know, so we've got that taster, we've got that experience. We want to do well in the competition. We also obviously go straight through to the second round in the Via Play, which is important. One win, you're in the quarterfinals. And we need a squad size, and we need a squad capable of competing on all fronts. So we've now experienced the atmospheres of the old firm games and the local derbies that we play. We've been to Ross County, where it was a particularly windy and cold day. And I think foreign players have integrated well as well. So you look at Ellie's example, first half of the season to second half of the season, he's really adapted to Scottish football very well.
European football then, you mentioned, how important is that for a club like Hibs, but also for attracting new players, for the players themselves that might not have played in it before, and also, of course, the fans?
Well, the fans love a trip, don't they, and love a day out, and that's what we want to provide. It's all about the memories, it's about the connection with the club, maintaining and building over the years. You know, we want new supporters coming through the door. My hairdresser, just as an example, his little boy, he's like 5 or 6 years old, like absolutely loves Hibs, and I mean loves Hibs. And, you know, they're very close to Daz McGregor as well, who obviously speaks so well of the club, and he goes with his papa, his granddad. And every time I get my hair cut, I hear the story, and every time it melts my heart. And it's those type things that you want to, you know, bring these young kids, these experiences where they're going with their granddad, and they're experiencing great wins, great European nights, and obviously being successful in the league and the cups. And I genuinely believe that we've got an opportunity to do that this year. We've set ourselves up lovely, and we've got a consistency there now, and we've added real quality.
Yeah, will this be, am I right in thinking it's your first time yourself managing in Europe as well?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm actually flying out to the Faroe Islands next week to look at that game. I think the first leg is tomorrow. So it'll be interesting to see that one on video, but obviously we've got a game, and then the second leg, I'll be able to get eyes on it myself, which I'm looking forward to. And, you know, we're going to need all the support because no games are easy. So it's going to be a tough game that we want to make sure we progress through the round.
Just finally then, looking ahead to this season, I know supporters at the start of the season get really excited once the fixtures are released. You're kind of looking at all the key dates. From a manager's perspective, do you set like club targets, team targets of where we want to finish in the league, or outcomes and objectives that you want to meet?
Yeah, look, I think like in-house we do, you know, at board level we do that. You know, Ben Kensel from a financial level does that, but you know, the footballer in me and the sort of winner wants to win every game, and that's where we start. You know, we don't put restrictions on ourselves early. I think that's the key. We're very ambitious. We want to reach for the stars and be super aggressive in every game. You know, our game style is aggressive. When we play well, We're having lots of chances, lots of shots, and the byproduct of that is winning games. So if we get the process right as much as possible, those results come to us over a period of time. And there's some good teams in this league. It's a very, very tough league. So, like we've got a great history, and we want to create history, but so have other teams, and we go into these games against an opponent that often are very well versed in the division. So I think we've come through last season in the end in a half decent place. I'm really looking to capitalise this season.
Appreciate your time, Lee. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.